I don't normally like doing videos like this because it tends to be abrasive. Not necessarily for me or for the devs, but someone will think that I'm trying to take a dump on the devs or that I'm trying to call out certain individuals or that I'm just being a crybaby. But in reality, all it is that I'm trying to do with this is let people know what is going on so that they could better prepare for it. In this case, it has to do with a pretty significant exploit regarding New World, and if they don't fix it, if the devs are unable to repair this, it will strike to the actual fundamental core of what New World is as a game and could end up being the reason why New World itself ends up failing like so many people are saying it's going to. Newsy news. Hey everybody, my name is Onepeg. Today is Sunday, October 17th, 2021, and this is an update regarding New World, of all things. If you guys like my content, you end up enjoying the stuff that I've been creating over the last few years, and you wouldn't mind dropping me a sub, I would very much appreciate it because we do this kind of stuff all the time. New World has a fundamental issue with its server structure. Well, it goes without saying that the vast majority of online games will always end up being, I guess, lauded as having issues regarding their own netcode. The thing that people tend to cry about the most, with the exception of cheaters, is going to be netcode. It's no secret that network engineers are the highest paid guys on the payroll, and they also tend to be the people that get blamed when the game doesn't perform the way that it's supposed to. And I can't think of a time where I would really want to be that guy or girl. You know what I mean? Anyway, the most widespread forum post that really drew light to this dates back to October 6th, written by someone named K-Dog. And in this, it talks about an exploit regarding a war and lag inside of it. He says that he's shot called numerous wars in the game, 4 now since launch, and he's never seen a lag/exploit this bad, and that's including the beta in which they fixed it since then. Now, what he means by this is during the closed and open betas, of which I also partook in, where wars got incredibly laggy, to the point where certain shots weren't registering, people weren't unable to move, and it just kind of felt sticky, very, very laggy, and very poor in its performance. Since then, the devs have tried to make some adjustments, the first one being that they modified the turrets so that they're no longer rendering projectiles as they're flying through the air, and that it's supposed to be hit scan now. Now, I'm assuming in the case of something like cannons, there's a bit of a delay with travel time of projectiles and whatnot, and it's going to still travel in an arc. But the animation of that is supposedly all client-side, where the damage that's being realized is done on the server, and there isn't actually any rendering of projectile flight going on. However, in the case of the way New World and a lot of its mechanics work, is there's a lot of damage over time stuff going on. Specifically when you talk about things like the Ice Gauntlet, Poison AoE clouds from the bow, Hammer AoE, just about all of the Hammer crowd control abilities where people are getting knocked back, knocked around, those are all wide, swathing, damaging attacks with a lot of particle effects. In the case of something like the Ice Gauntlet, you then have things like Ice Storm that cause damage every quarter second in a 5-meter radius, along with causing slowing effects. So if you're scratching your head wondering what the hell I'm getting at, it's basically this. When it comes to servers and their performance, and a lot of people are getting hit because you have to remember that a war is 50 people versus 50 people. When you're talking about trying to hold a specific point on a map, you're looking at 15, 20, 30, 40 people that are all taking ticking damage from something like multiple ice storms stacked on top of each other. Couple that along with heal over time effects from zones on the ground that people stand in, where everybody stands in the green circles and tries to stay out of the burning ones or the frost ones. You have a lot of ticking damage going on. That is all calculating that the server has to do in real time, along with positional data where people are changing coordinates on the map plane as they move around. So when you have all of this additional information that has to now be reconciled, the server starts to fall apart, which leads us to the exploiting. And rather than explain this or show how this is being utilized, I figure it better to just play you the clip.
2, 1, let's go! Full fucking spike, please. Full spike, full spike. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That was a perfect spike, boys. Fucking banging. Find the healers, take them down. Come on! Take down their rage, boys. Take down their rage, take down.
Find their healers and take them down. Nice spike. What he's referring to is a lag spike. where they are purposefully timing the AoE effects that they are generating in order to freeze people dead in their tracks so that they can take over the points on offense. Now, this has been regarded as an offensive strategy, albeit a really crappy one, because the basic reason why is as soon as everything starts freezing up, this happens on defense.
Flex team, focus B, focus B. We need turrets, we need siege cannons on B. Forest team, take out that siege.
I'm hopping on turret.
Now, if you notice right here, he takes aim at someone that's running in place, moonwalking, and then he's just not there anymore. If we continue on, you notice that he's taking fire into a crowd. This reticle was clearly pointed at someone. He fired into a group of the enemy, and no damage was registered. That one hit out of the next 5 to 6 hits that is shown in this clip is the only one that actually registers damage, even though he's firing into the exact same point.
Come on, dude, this lag is gonna,
No register. No
This is
register.
fucking terrible.
No register.
Bodies on point. They have.
So what happens here? The enemy team, the attackers, have crowded the point. They begin to do an AoE attack on the defenders that are inside of the point trying to hold it, but they don't have numbers. The attacking team has the majority share of people on the point, and when it comes to capping a point, you need one extra body on the point than what the enemy has in order to be able to maintain control. If now they are unable to render damage onto the opposing team that is trying to attack, they can do nothing. They can only sit there in frustration and watch the point slowly cap over time. And here's the disappearing cannon fire.
We need bodies on A.
Oh, fuck. They're ridiculous. I hate this one.
When a cannonball lands, there is a large explosion on the ground, and then you would see a large contingent of people fly backward because the cannonball causes large area effect knockback.
Can't do anything with this lag, man.
But again, nothing reconciled in the case of instant damage whatsoever. So they again have to sit idly by and watch the point slowly just get capped. Now, there are people that will claim that this is a valid strategy, that it's not their fault that these server mechanics are the way that they are, and if you wanted to win, all you'd have to do is fight fire with fire. The problem here becomes in the fact that defense is almost a futile effort as soon as people implement this on purpose. If the idea is to try to mount some form of effective defense and you are found unable to do so, then why bother trying in the first place? You'll show up, you'll open the doors, let them come in, cap the thing because you're just not going to win anyway, and end up doing a rinse and repeat because all you'd have to do is continue flipping the town over and over and over again. There is no established territorial control in this case. In this case, it's just a matter of utilizing lag mechanics in order to be able to regain control for a day where the next company comes in, declares war, burns their 15,000, and it just continues to flip endlessly over time. Now, the devs have been attempting, I guess, some kind of a fix because in the last couple of days, they ended up doing a stealth modification to the way that these AoE effects end up working, and I'll show you basically what that's about.
So 1, 2, 3, go. I've got damage. My damage disappeared.
Yep, see? That you can't stack them. You can't stack them.
So you can only get hit by a single...
So what this is showing is that one ice storm overwrites another. The last ice storm to be cast is the one that ends up doing the damage, and you can't have multiple ice storms taking multiple damages onto a single target. This is also true for heal over time effects. Whether or not this ends up being something that ends up fixing the problem is unknown. I don't know if it's going to be enough, if I'm being completely honest. Because you have to remember, you have a diseased axe throw that does ticking damage. You have a poison arrow that does ticking damage. You have an area of effect from fire. You have an area of effect from frost. You have an area of effect from the hammer tree, and you have area of effects in the case of a great axe with the big vortex. There's an awful lot of area of effect damage that is still going out, and this also significantly reduces the effectiveness of area of effect because now multiple life staffs putting green circles on the ground, you are only going to benefit from one single caster or one single heal type from a multitude of casters. That also means it's a lot more likely that a lot more people are going to die inside of wars as they are fighting versus living. I'm going to go on a limb and say that It probably never should have been stuff that really stacked up like that to begin with. Maybe this is a step in the right direction, and there are an awful lot of people that seem like they're relatively unkillable when you start stacking up healing effects like that, and it really did need some adjusting, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to fix the lag issue. I would venture to guess that it's not going to be, and we're still going to see people exploiting these types of mechanics in order to be able to push into cities and take over. Now, I'm not a network engineer, and I don't really know how to fix this one. My hope is that there are some smart people over at Amazon Games that can, because constant flipping of territory is just going to lead to an extremely large amount of frustration among everyone. And regardless of whether or not you were at one time on the attacking side winning as a result of this mechanic, you will at some point be on the defending side trying to beat this lag mechanic. And to be completely honest, everyone is going to get annoyed with it. You won't be able to hold on to a damn thing. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. Thank you guys so much for coming and checking out this edition of the Newsy News, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.